I can't really, I feel like when you get certain energies like that in life, and what could be for whatever, it could be to step down from a certain job. It could be to ask this person to take the next step with you in your relationship, or whatever it is. Whenever you feel that, you should lean into those instincts, because God made us instinctual beings for a reason. Mm-hmm. So when you hear something, when you feel something, you should act on it. You know what I mean? That's what makes us special. And if you don't, then sometimes you can miss out on an opportunity.
I'm Simeon Pando.
Victoria Monet.
Dang.
I'm Melvin Gregg.
This is another episode of Nice and Neat.
I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon.
Welcome back to another episode.
Oh man. Hey, how you feel about putting like the pen to the pad? Like writing, matter of fact, writing out your like what you want to achieve in life, your goals.
Man, I feel
even
like,
what's next. Do you write out your daily schedule? Like how you feel about that?
It's crazy. I don't write out my daily schedule because honestly, I don't have a reason for not. Honestly, it just sometimes it's a lot of thinking to put into each hour each day, but weekly, like what I need to accomplish, right? I think that's better for me that I've learned. But I think there's an enormous amount of power in putting the pen to the pad. I feel like, at least for me, even in terms of just
like actually writing or notes
actually
in your
writing,
phone?
actually writing. Because when I write stuff in the notes in the phone, I don't have the same recollection, the same memory, the same connection to the material that I would have if I were actually writing it. I've actually seen more like success or more accomplishments for myself and my own personal accolades and goals when I write the actual goal or task down. When I just put it down in my phone or just think about it, it doesn't have the same kind of power, you know what I mean? Or it doesn't have, the manifestation is lacking for me unless I put it down. I have to put it down. You know what I mean? And even in like when I go back to like learning, like if I don't write it, I don't remember it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people that could just look at something and remember it. I actually have to write it down, and I go through a process mentally as I'm writing it that helps me remember, that helps me connect to the material, that helps me understand it so I can teach it to someone else. So yeah, I think there's enormous power in putting the pen to the pad. And I would encourage all of us here, not just our listeners, but us here, like if we're trying to accomplish something, put that shit on paper.
You got notebooks?
Bro, not thousands, I'm throwing doves, but bro, so many notebooks that like I oftentimes go back and look back at older notes. I recently went back to look at a notebook from 2012. Literal notes, how I was talking to myself. This was a football notebook, but literally in a notebook in all caps. And that was bullshit. Oh, you will never have another practice like that again. Literally in the notebook, dated and all that. And
that's how I use my Facebook.
Damn.
I'll be looking back at old things that I said, and I'll be like, dang, I'm still that dude. I'm still that guy, man. In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah.
You know.
No, but I think that's important though. I think it's important. If
you write everything, dude?
Man, I write a lot, but I've learned that, man, like writing notes, writing things down, it helps. But you still got to have a system in place for like learning though. Like, you know, you can't just write shit down and just be like, I wrote it down, so I'm gonna retain it. Like most people think they just write things down and it's gonna help, and it's better than not writing anything now. But like, you gotta write things down and have a system of how you're gonna like go check those notes. And what exactly are you writing? Are you writing just to get off how you feel? That's different. If I'm just journaling, it's different. I don't have to like recollect.
What's journaling?
If I'm writing thoughts.
If I'm waking up in the morning and I'm just writing thoughts and I'm talking about how I'm feeling. I journal.
You journal?
I journal.
I journal when I'm not smoking weed.
So if you're just journaling and you just getting your thoughts off, or you just want to do things like that, cool. But when you're writing notes and you try to remember something, or you're putting goals on paper, you can't just put goals on paper and just like close your notebook.
Yeah, no.
You got to put the goals down, and then you got to figure out, okay, what are the steps to get to this goal?
Yeah. And
then you got to give this goal a date, and then you got to get how you're going to get. So all those things come into play, and I think so many people get caught up in writing things down, they'll never take action.
Yeah.
I've had that experience where I've just written things down. I'm telling you, year after year, I'm like, okay, this year is going to be big, and I'm going to do all these things. And I think we got to have discretion on what we write down and how we write it down, right?
Yeah.
Because you can overwrite and write yourself out of just doing action, taking action. I've done that.
You gonna overtalk it.
You overtalk it, you know what I mean? So I think there's a fine line between writing things down and just doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm guilty of falling into this trap of I gotta write my goals down and I gotta write everything down before I take action. But earlier this year, man, I was just like, yo, like I'm gonna write a little bit, but I'm really focused on execution.
Yeah.
And when I get in the execution mode, like that's how I get momentum, you know?
That's great that you mentioned execution, because I feel like we've talked about it before on the show, but it's like, what good is the use of knowledge if you're not applying? What's the application? And I think that's what you're alluding to. It's like, yo, if you're going to gather all this information, you know what I mean, you're going to write all these great things down in your notes. Okay, well, it's one thing just to have it and wrote it down, to say you wrote it down, but if you're not doing anything to apply it, what's the purpose of it? That shit is just material just sitting in your notebook. You know what I mean? So I think you on point with that.
And we don't want to get into, like, I don't want to get into a space where, like, mental health is big, wellness is big, writing things down is big, journaling is big. But you don't want to get into a place where you're just doing it just because you think it's cool, or just think because everyone's telling you like you should write things down. There has to be intention behind it.
1000%.
You know what I mean? And not just like the information that you want to retain, but just the things you want to do. And I agree with both of y'all points. It's like, yo, if you want the process to work, then write instead of type, right? Because what I've learned as well is you have to filter to so many things in your phone when you write notes in your phone. I have probably like 2,500 notes in my phone.
Yeah.
In my notes app. You get what I'm saying? And then you gotta compete with Instagram. Then you gotta compete with your emails.
Just notifications.
Then you gotta compete with notifications. And it's so many. You open your phone and say, yo, I gotta get to this note, and
you get distracted.
Get distracted.
Yep.
Right.
It won't never make
it's so easy to write notes. It's hard to stay organized in your phone. So you just got a bunch of notes that you're just writing down in a moment that you think you're gonna get to it, but you never get to it. So I think everyone has to have a system of notes, like note taking, titles, dates, bullet points,
I'm big on that.
Outlines, all these things, folders.
Oh yeah, I'm big on outlines.
That's
how I learned.
I can't write without dating it or
You get what I'm
time.
saying?
I need to know where I was at, what was going on, because all that shit is important to me when I go back and reference.
Because if I just jot something down, I'm gonna forget.
Yeah.
So as you guys may not know, we just jumped right into it, but we're really talking about just like the process of manifestation and what does the process look like for you. So I'm pretty sure you guys have manifested a few things in your lives that you guys like and that you guys were actually going after and looking to achieve. Dude, you're super big on action steps, and I love that aspect about you because it's something that lives in me through you, an understanding like, okay, cool, if this is what I want to accomplish, that's dope. But what are the action steps? Like, how can I tell somebody this is what I want to accomplish? What is your process and manifestation for yourself? And what would you tell somebody like, yo, this is how you can potentially manifest something that you're trying to get to?
What's my process of manifestation? I just try to ask myself what I want, what I want in life, for real. Not what I think other people think I should have, or I try to say, what do I really want? And I try to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say, yo, in 6 months I want to have $10 million, right? Now, some people have those lofty expectations, and it works for some people. But I try to be realistic so I can make progress while I'm trying to manifest this thing, right? I think what helps me continue to progress is being able to like make progress incrementally, right? And go from like 0 to 10 and 10 to 20 and 20, 30 and 30, 40 and so on and so on. And not just try to like go from 0 to 100 in a matter of, a small amount of time. So when I manifest anything, right, I try to look at, is this something that's feasible to me, right? Do I have the energy to, give to this? Can I put out this large output to get me this thing back, right? And I really look at my skill set, my mindset, my will, my work ethic, all these things to see if it aligns with the thing that I want, right? I'm a realistic manifester. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just be manifesting just to say, like, I have these big dreams. Nah. There are gonna be people that come into your life and say, yo, you need to, like, have unrealistic expectations and think so big. And I agree to a certain extent. But when you're thinking about something that you actually want to accomplish, you got to look at where you are and how long it's going to take to get there, and kind of compromise a little bit on the level of manifestation. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I trust myself that, like, I don't believe I can manifest anything without working for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I can manifest anything and it's just going to come into my life just because I manifested it.
Yeah.
Right. I believe in manifestation, but I believe in like the work to do it.
Yep.
Right. And that work may be in the form of discipline. That may be in the form of like eating right. That may be in the form of learning how to communicate with y'all, learning how to communicate with my woman. That may be in the form of staying up late. That may be in the form of missing workouts.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like that could be in the form of something, but I believe like
That's a part of the manifestation process.
that's a part of it for me. Like it's like, all right, cool. I can't just say I want to manifest and not be willing to sacrifice things to make that manifestation become reality.
Yeah.
That's my process.
Yeah. Yeah. My process is very kind of similar to Duke's. First, I need to identify whatever it is that I'm trying to manifest. I'm going to identify that, and then I'm going to take a look at, okay, well, realistically speaking to Duke, like how long could this process take? Okay, I understand how long it could possibly take. Okay, now let me think about what needs to be done in order for me to get to that point. Okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z multiple times throughout the week in order for me to accomplish this goal throughout the month, in order for me to reach the goal by the end of the year. Which, back to Duke's point, within my manifestation and within the process, I also understand that, this could probably take 5-10 years. However, whatever it is that I'm searching for or trying to obtain through the manifestation process. I think that's one thing that I think I do really well with, is understanding that I could go get it, and it may not happen tomorrow or the next year, but I'm confident that I could go get it because I've done it before. And I've seen things in my path that have been light years away from me, ahead of me. But through understanding the process, understanding what needs to be done in order to reach that goal, I'm able to get there. But I think just to add to Duke's point, you can't manifest anything in life and think that's going to happen overnight. That's just not how manifestation works. It takes time. And I was thinking about this as you were saying it, but like, this is the whole thing. This just kept popping through my head as you were finishing up your statement. But it's like, prayers don't work unless you do. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing with manifestation.
Faith without work.
Faith
is dead.
It doesn't work.
Speaking of, I know you're a man of faith, right?
1000%.
What is the difference between manifestation and faith for you?
Oh. Faith is believing in something that I can't see. And manifestation is creating something that I cannot see. Okay? So faith is believing in something that everybody can't see, but I know in my heart, I believe it's there. Manifestation is, ain't nothing over there, but I'm finna create this opportunity for myself that's way down at the end. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but it's gonna happen because I'm gonna create it. Because that's what manifestation is. You're creating it through God's workings, of course, right? But you're creating the manifestation. I don't think God creates faith. Man didn't create faith, or maybe man.
we gotta have faith.
We have to have faith.
We gotta have faith to receive.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's the biggest difference for me is for the manifestation. I create the manifestation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah. I think that was a great example.
I think that was good. I agree because faith is what continues to hold God's job security.
Yep.
Like the reason why God has a job is for us to have faith in the things that only He can see for us. Manifestation is more so of a, like, this is something that I want. This is something that I've seen. These are the processes. Let me go ahead and let me go get that. Let me create that. I'm block by block rather than somebody kind of like lifting me up into a space that I didn't necessarily know existed. But that was good.
I think manifestation nowadays is a hot word. And I think we throw it around, and a lot of times when we speak about manifestation, we can equate it to people speaking things into existence. But manifestation is not just speaking things into existence, it's acting things into existence.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the part where people miss. And the actions have to be in alignment with the things that you're talking about and in order for that thing to come to fruition. Otherwise, manifestation is just like wishing. You know what I mean? It's just throwing out wishes. And then you got to set yourself up in a way that you are ready to receive what you're asking for. You know, so I can sit here all day long and I can manifest a good woman, and I could talk about how much, you know, I want the woman in my dreams to walk through the door. But if I'm not constantly working on myself, and if I'm not constantly trying to become the best man I could be for myself, so when I meet that woman, I'm able to receive her, then like the manifestation that you're talking about is fluff. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's what happens with a lot of people, right? And now honestly, when people talk about manifestation, a lot of times it does sound like they're just like big dreams. You know what I mean? They sound like they don't seem realistic, right? And I'm not talking about, it doesn't seem like, yo, they want that for the life they have now. It just seems like, yo, that's just my dream. When I'm talking about manifesting, I'm telling you, I could see this thing. Like I can see this thing, and I know what I need to do. Or I can see this thing and I know like there are steps that I need to do that I think I'm capable of doing.
So you kind of already to manifest, you almost playing in the realm already.
Like you're in the space, bro.
Like it's like being a third string and be like, man,
I'm about to be a starter.
Correct.
okay.
Because you're in that door, right? And you understand just the inner workings of what's going on. Like, yeah, I want that. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna ask you this. So in knowing that manifestation kind of comes in the realm, right, already, if you're a third string, can you jump your manifestation to being a Hall of Famer? Or would you be like, yo, like, let's take it step by step?
It's got to be a step. It's got to be a step, because how could you be a famer and just skip the whole process? You didn't even manifest winning games, winning Super Bowls. Now you're going to be a Hall of Famer? You know what I mean? I feel like you have to manifest every single process. You can't just, otherwise the manifestation doesn't take place. Or it happens in a way that you didn't design. You know what I mean? I feel like you have to put it in each place. And I feel like there are things that I didn't put in place within manifesting things that I want in my life, that I wanted in my life. And I got to a certain point and I didn't surpass that point because I never aligned what it looked like after that. You know what I mean? So I believe in that wholeheartedly.
It's continual.
Yeah.
It's continual.
I guess like how I look. I guess how I look at it, I was funny. He said, ooh. I guess how I look at it is there's a such thing as you see something and you would like to have that, right? And damn, I would like to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Man, I would like to live in that mansion one day. Man, I would like to have that woman one. That's like, I don't think that's what I'm talking about. Those are things that most people probably can interpret as manifestation. But if I'm the third stringer, just how it works is, yo, before, like, my goal as a third stringer is never to make it to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's never to make, like, my goal as a practice squad player is never to make it to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's to get on the team.
Let's get on the team, bro.
That's my goal.
That's the steps.
It's to get on the team.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, yo, I'm gonna manifest this, right? At the end of the season.
He going crazy.
The weights ain't that heavy over
Yo,
there.
that's funny, right? But I'm gonna manifest this at the end of the season. I'm at the end of camp. I'm gonna be in this football team, right? I got to get to that point first before I get to the other stuff. And I feel like that's when I talk about manifestation. That's when I say, yo, it's realistic for me.
Yep.
You know. But yeah, man, I think for me, it's just like up until this point, at least, a lot of the things, like, okay, so I've noticed that I'm not the biggest, like, I don't speak about things that I want like that. Right? I'm not the person that's gonna be like, yo, I want that, I'm gonna go get it, and I can't, I'm more of a like, yo, I'm gonna go get that. And you ain't gonna hear me talk about it. You know, that's me. So when I get it, you're not gonna be able to trace back to the point where I said I wanted it. And then I can't, so now I don't really have no proof of manifestation, you know, but the manifestation is in the work I'm doing every day.
Yeah.
Right? Me waking up in the morning, me like having boundaries with y'all and having boundaries with everyone else in my family and things like that. And me not answering the phone when I really want to answer the phone.
Duke got hard boundaries during
saying?
manifestation season.
And just, I'm just saying, like, things like that, or it's like, those are things that I don't have to talk about or communicate, but I just know, I feel like the actions are, I'm acting it into existence, you know? And I think that's powerful, man, nowadays. But I think most people just, I don't think have that type of relationship with manifestation.
Can you do something that just made me think about it right now? You went undrafted. This may not be the first time, but during that process of being undrafted to now starting on a team, starting in the Super Bowl, like what were some of the things that you did to even manifest that point? Was that something that you did, or like what did that process look like for you?
To start the Super Bowl or to make the team?
To go from not being drafted
Yeah.
to starting in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The levels of manifestation, like I know we established that it takes steps, but what were some of those, like, okay, this was the benchmark here.
Yeah.
Okay, this milestone hit
No, for
here.
sure.
All right, like how was that process for you?
Yeah, I think that's a great question too, because how it works is like I don't get too high, get too low. I'm not an emotional person in terms of you're not gonna see me moping around and just like down in the dumps when things don't go my way, right? I just try to process things and say, yo, can I work myself out of this? So when I go undrafted, everyone wants to get drafted. I'm looking at all the other safeties get drafted before me. I'm like, yo, I'm better than him. At least I think. All right. I go undrafted. It doesn't matter who you think you're better than. You're undrafted. So I'm like,
that's a gem actually right there in its own.
It doesn't really
great
matter.
perspective.
It doesn't matter who you think you better than. You're undrafted.
You went undrafted.
All right. So like, all right, cool. You think you're better than them? Prove it. So now I go to the Broncos. It's just the best opportunity for me, honestly. I look at the safeties. I look at how much they were going to pay me to come there as an undrafted free agent. And I was just like, let's do it, all right? So on the Midwest, West Coast. So now my focus is making the team. That's it. Making practice squad, sticking around. I should say my focus is I just need to stick around.
So
that's my focus.
Pause you right there. It's not starting.
It's not starting.
It's levels because
it's not
because
starting.
of how he came in.
It's not starting.
Levels.
It's just making the team.
I
I want to be on the 53-man roster at that time.
I need to stick around.
Got you.
So like when I say it's levels. They got 8-man practice squad roster. Yeah. Okay. I need to be on at least that. I feel like I could be on that. I could see myself being on that. I know my work ethic. I can see the roster. I can see how things play. We talk about energy. I feel the energy around. First of all, bro, when you go to a team, you could sense, the team could sense who people are leaning to.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you could just sense like what players the coaches like, what players the players are in favor of. You sense that, right? So I was sensing, I was like, yo, I'm gonna manifest this. So then I make the practice squad. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna stick around for a little bit. I'm someone who's very coachable.
Yep.
And I'm someone who works really hard. Those things jump off the screen, right? And I'm someone at the time, I'm going to hit you.
Yep.
All right?
Dude was hitting, boy.
I'm going to hit you.
Hey.
So I'm going to say, yo, like, okay, those things jump off the screen. So I'll say, okay, yo, if I learn this defense and I get comfortable with the guys and I stop feeling like an undrafted free agent and I start feeling like a part of the team, I can make the team now. Right? So then my focus is on, I need to get on the team. Or I need to use this time to get better to get on the team. Right? And I get on the team. And they put me back down. So when they put me back down, I'm like, you know what? I'm going up and down from the team to the practice squad, throughout the whole year. And the year ends, right? We got a good team. We go to the playoffs. The year ends. But when the year ended, now was like, I could start next year. That's when that's a new level of manifestation. Yo, I could be the starter next year.
Because you were in the realm.
Because I'm in the realm already. I understand the inner workings of things. I understand the energy that everyone's receiving me with, right? I understand the roster. I understand how to play more. I feel more comfortable. I'm going to manifest that I'm going to be the starter. After the year was over, TC came to me, was out, I think we was in Mexico, right? This is his exact words to me. He said, Duke, you can fuck around and be the starter next year. I said, I know.
This is from a starter.
TC was starting that year. TC was starting, he was the nickel.
Yep. TC was starting nickel.
Yeah,
TC was starting nickel.
But look, he said, yo, dude, like, you can fuck around and be the starter. I said, I know. So my goal was to just be the starter next year, right? So again, new level of manifestation. I trusted it. And next year came, I competed for the starting role in camp. I got the starting role.
Yep.
And then I didn't have to think about starting in the Super Bowl. I just thought about, okay, I just want to have a good season.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, you start the Super Bowl. You start the Super Bowl. So, but there's always levels of manifestation. But it wasn't, hey, yo, undrafted to I need to be the starter in the Super Bowl. Nah, it don't work like that.
So I mean, it doesn't seem like you did a whole bunch of writing. You didn't go through
Nah.
12 notebooks. It was like, okay, this is the goal.
Yeah.
This is what I want to achieve. This is the work.
Yeah.
Oh, you talked about work. You talked about you believe that work is heavily involved in manifestation. How much of it is a thought? How much of it is the work?
I would say 90% of it is the work. It doesn't take much to formulate the thought in your mind, nor does it take much work. You know what I mean? The real work is in the sweat. It's in the getting up early, the staying up late, the doing things people don't want to do. I feel like if you want to manifest something in your life, if you don't do those things, you'll never accomplish. You'll never grasp whatever it is that you're after. You can't just have these, I'll call them empty prayers, empty manifestation without the work. Pete, there are millions of people who have many thoughts of what they want to do. The reason that separates us, other people in here that are successful, that are doing what they're doing, is the work. Everyone wants to be successful. Everyone has a manifestation thought at some point in life about something that they're interested in. The only thing that keeps them from obtaining that or from going to get it is the damn work. So like, I don't see a dream being accomplished, a manifestation being reached without the work. It doesn't happen.
Man, you know what I hear, bro? And we talked about realms. We talked about manifestation within that realm. I think you have to manifest and work yourself out of every realm to achieve the next. And I say that from a space of thinking about Tom Brady. Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. It's no way that he went from getting drafted in the 6th round and saying, I want to win 7 Super Bowls.
No way. No way. You think that kid was thinking that when he went up there to back up
The
Drew
thought
Bledsoe?
process-
No way.
Like, and I understand people say think big, and you know, it's probably somebody listening is like, well, why can't I think big like that? It's not even thinking big, it's thinking fair.
Yeah,
like being
right.
fair to yourself.
Right.
Of like, hey man, because just like, you know, working all month, you need some sort of reprieve. Right. And I think by manifesting your goal from realm to realm, the achievement of it is the reprieve. So like, I'm 6th round. Okay, cool. I made the team. Reprieve.
Yep.
Cool. I made the team. I'm the official backup. Reprieve. I'm the backup. Starter gets hurt. I'm the starter. Reprieve. Super Bowl champion. Reprieve.
Yep.
Right. And I feel like that part is so important to be able to get those milestones, as we were talking about Duke. Undrafted, made the team with a signing bonus. Reprieve. Cool. Back and forth, up and down. Hey, yo, you know what? You can be the starter. Just those words could be the space of reprieve in that.
No, seriously.
To where you're just like, oh, I put myself in the realm to even be acknowledged enough in that space. So when we're talking about manifestation, I think the most important thing in that is knowing the realm that you're trying to manifest out of.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like to say like, man, I'm gonna make $1 million this month. Well, have you made $1 million in a year yet? Like, I think the it's like, I'm not saying it's not possible.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I don't think none of us are saying it's not possible, but being able to understand the realms that you're in, I feel like that helps me out a lot myself. And just understanding like, okay, cool. Well, this is what I want to accomplish. I want to accomplish this because I feel like our thoughts are so big, man. Our thoughts are big to where you be like, man, I want to do this. And by the end of the week, I want to achieve it. And it's like, well, what about the other stuff that you have to do this week? Like, let's be fair to yourself.
Yep.
Speaking to Duke's story, you've always, in real time, like, have talked about Duke's story. Like, even before he was starting, it was like, man, I don't know why Duke not starting. I have no idea why Duke not starting. And I understand for some people, that's like man, your friend just got your back. But like, I know when you heard those rumblings from other defensive players on the team, not offensive guys, like, and you might have heard it from offensive guys, but hearing it from other defensive players on the team, like, you also could have took that 2 ways. You could have been like, well, I'm doing enough, you know. I don't need to go no harder. These coaches just don't recognize. But like, at the end of the day, like, your goal still ain't accomplished. Like, the thing that you manifested still is not coming to fruition yet.
For sure.
So you still got to keep pushing. So like, in that, like, in hearing TC say like, yo, you should be starting. Saying you should be starting. Multiple people on the team saying you should be starting, and you still not. What kept pushing you to say like, hey, yo, like, my dream is not complete yet. I hear what they saying, but my dream not complete yet.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that earlier too. With manifestation, you gotta really want it. It just can't be something you're saying just because it sounds great. You got to really want it. So if I'm trying to accomplish something and people are giving me a pat on the back for just accomplishing, almost accomplishing it, you know, it's just not good enough because I didn't get what I wanted, right? It'd be a shame if I did all this manifesting and all this working hard and just fell short of what I wanted, right? So the reason anyone could keep going after they hear praise is because they understand that, like, hey, yo, what Kobe say, job's not finished. The job's not finished. I'm not happy right now. The job's not finished. Thank you, but the job's not finished, you know? And I think for me, when guys like Champ Bailey would pull me to the side and not even saying you're doing a good job, right? Or not even saying, hey, yo, I see you, but pulling me to the side and say, hey, yo, listen, hey, let me tell you something. Hey, you ain't got to try to hit everybody, right? You ain't got to, hey, yo, you trying to hit everybody. You ain't got to. So now the coaching point let me know that, okay, he paying attention. So he's not just going to be like, oh, he's going to be out of here. He's like, hey, yo, here's a tip. You know what I mean? DJ Williams say, hey, yo, hey, check this out. You know, when you use your hands doing this. So now I'm like receiving these, not even just praise, but almost coaching and constructive criticism. To me, that was like a version of support, you know, that I was just like, all right, cool. I'm really on it now. Now I really could see it. Now I really could grasp it. And that's what I'm talking about it has to be like a reality thing. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be something that you just think you're supposed to do. All right, it was a real thing for me, and O saw it, and I was just like, yo, like, I don't care about nothing right now. Like, I'm focused on this, and it happens.
So I kind of want to dive into that, right? Duke, I want you to, we talked about work, what was your schedule? What was your team schedule? And then what was your personal schedule outside of the team schedule that separated you? And you said, like, nah, I'm locked in for this.
You'll be very hard to find someone in this world that's met me and spent time around me that doesn't say I work hard. It'd be super hard. So the things that I was doing started way before I got into the facility, right? In the off season, we got a workout at 8 o'clock. I'm getting there at 7 doing my own workout. Just to work on things I need to work on before I even work on with the guys. So when I show up to camp, I'm in shape. I'm confident because I know I put in the work, right? I'm confident because I know I put in the work. If I don't put in the work, I'm not confident.
You didn't need those first couple of weeks to run off that weight.
I don't need it, right? Because I don't have the luxury.
Never.
I didn't have the luxury to not be confident. I didn't have the luxury to not be in shape. If you're not confident and you're undrafted, you're gone.
That's so real.
You're gone. It's written all over you.
You could be drafted and have no confidence. You can be gone.
It's written all over the tape. You're gone, right? So I think for me, you know, once we get into like camp and the season, man, the schedule is like on average we start the meetings like at 7:30, 7:45, maybe 8 o'clock, right? And we're there from 8 to 5. All right,
strong.
Or if you like me and you dealing with some injuries, 6 to 5, or you gotta stay after 6 to 6. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be anywhere from there. So when I get home, it's like, all right, my physicality and my athleticism, I got that. I can't be a liability because I don't know what I'm doing. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't the smartest player out there, but I was smart enough to understand everything.
Yeah.
All right. So if you draw something up and I can study and I can learn, I'm going to try to learn it. Right. So when I go back to the coaches and I go back to practice, I don't look like someone who's not putting in the work because those people show up too. Right. And yo, we gave you the homework. We gave you the lesson and we talked about notes. I see you taking notes, but what are you doing with them?
Yep.
Okay, this guy's not studying. Okay, this guy's not. Oh, he got the nerve. Oh, he got the nerve to be undrafted. He got the nerve to come into and not study. Oh, he's out of here.
Get him out.
So for me, it was just like I didn't want to leave no room for error and put the fate of my future because this shit changed my life.
Seriously.
You know what I'm saying?
Seriously, dude.
Like this, all this.
Seriously,
what I'm talking about now. What I'm talking right now, it changed my life, bro. You know, like.
For real.
Like this is, you know how many people come into these NFL offices and facilities and be there for 2 months and then go home and
never see it again.
You never see them again. And they undrafted. That could have been me, bro.
Yeah.
Now I don't think it would have been me, but because I got so many other skills and talents. But this shit changed my life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, who am I to like disrespect this opportunity and not take this shit serious? And I think that when people are talking about manifestation, they treat it like it's a fucking hobby. They treat it like it's just like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. But if you are really serious about manifestation, you're gonna put the work, you're gonna put the words and the actions behind it.
Yeah.
You know.
You said something that, and you cut yourself off, but you were saying it. You was like, yo, like, I'm not gonna allow myself to put my future in somebody else's hands. In so many words, you were saying that. I feel like there's a huge part of manifestation that the only part that people can play in your manifestation is a yes. Like, you can't. There's nobody who can say no in the process of your manifestation, because you're gonna accomplish it regardless. So, for example, if you didn't make it with this team, you was gonna be look good enough on film to make it at one of the other 31 teams.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so the mentality of saying like, hey, yo, no matter what, I'm gonna accomplish this. Beautiful story again.
Oh, it's great.
Man.
Great
Beautiful
story.
I'm glad we touched on this, man. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of guys that can benefit from just understanding this on the sports page. But I wanted to use this example so we can apply it to everything that we have been doing and that we know in life. There's something that I do want to touch on, and to our new audience, you guys probably never heard this story, but somewhere, just how he was able to watch your manifestation, I was able to watch his. And O had a knee injury. He couldn't play in the league anymore. Let me not even say couldn't. O had a knee injury, and the league didn't want him to play in the league anymore. He could play. He would have. I'm sure you would have forced yourself to play. Yeah. But it was swelling up so much to where it was just, it was taking him away from who he was, man. And I remember he was in that limbo space, and he just came to a conclusion like, you know what? I'm not going to play anymore. I'm not going to play anymore. He's like, so what you want to do, man? He said, I want to train. I said, okay, well, what's your goal? Like, what you want to do? He said, I don't know what it looked like, but I just want to figure out how to make $100 a day. And I say that to say, where you are today, who you were in that space, to say I want to manifest who I am today, wouldn't have happened without the $100 a day manifestation. The common thread that I see here is so important to understand how to play in your realm. And like, say like, hey, you know what? Okay, I know who I want to be. Like, of course I would want to be a Super Bowl champion one day. Like, of course, but like, who am I today and what can I achieve tomorrow? So your mindset, and you said, I want to achieve $100 a day. What made you say that instead of saying like, man, I want to go to Germany and I want to get the surgery to do this, and I'll ride off on a chariot and I'll be a Super Bowl champion. I'll have a pick six in there. Like, what was like well, what was your mindset behind that?
We briefly touched on energy. I don't know. I felt the energy, or I felt God say, you know, enough is enough. Your time is done there. Your time is served, and as much as you loved it, as much as you want to go back, you know, that's what I felt. I felt that energy. I felt God telling me that. And as much as I wanted to ignore it or fight it, I just decided to accept it, because I felt like if he's telling me that and I'm feeling this strong energy, this strong pull of energy, it's for a reason. So I may not like it, and it may look muddy, and I may not understand what's going on or what's ahead of me, but if it's feeling this strong, it may be to my benefit. So I just trusted that, bro. I trusted my gut instinct. I trusted, you know, the word that I heard from God. I trusted the energy that I felt, and I just rolled with it. You know what I mean? I can't really, I feel like when you get certain energies like that in life, and what could be for whatever, it could be to step down from a certain job. It could be to ask this person to take the next step with you in your relationship, or whatever it is. Whenever you feel that, you should lean into those instincts, because God made us instinctual beings for a reason. So when you hear something, when you feel something, you should act on it. You know what I mean? That's what makes us special. And if you don't, then sometimes you can miss out on an opportunity. And I didn't want to miss out on whatever the next opportunity was for me in life. And again, I had no idea what it was. I just knew that I needed to get going and do something to give me a sense of purpose in life. And man, I don't know, just having that kind of energy, that mindset turned into, you know, I'm not going to talk about my business, but I mean, you know, I've been able to surpass that number. You know what I mean?
Why was $100 the number?
Man, that's a good question. It just seemed feasible. It seemed like something, because at the time I was making $0.
Yep.
I was making $0. So for me to say, it just seemed like something easy for me to obtain. That was like, that felt good too. It's like, yo, you get a C note, you can stack them. You know what I mean? Like
C note.
You get a C note, you can stack that. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, shit, I get 100, boom, I get 100 tomorrow. Now, if I just do one client a day, by the end of the week, I get 600. What if I did 5 a day? Oh, wow. So that, that idea, that thought process, just like it gave me confidence. Not the idea, the thought process, but throughout the process, I gained confidence of what I was manifesting on, of making $100 a day. I got more and more confident. And then throughout it, I didn't reset the goal, but in my head, I was like, I can make more than $100 a day. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go I'm about to go grab that. I'm about to go grab, and that's just how it happened. You know what I mean? But none of that shit would have happened had I not put in the work. Had I not took actionable steps. Had I not said, okay, I want to go into training. Okay, well, let me get had I not gotten my certification. Had I not studied. Had I not went and trained and learned from mentors. All that, none of this would have happened. None of that would have happened had I not put that work in. You know what I mean? Yeah. So all of that shit is important.
Jelon, what about you? What about, because you got a pretty long story too, right? With starting out, becoming an entrepreneur. I know you told the story a lot of times where you was cutting in the shop you own right now. Mm-hmm. You was cutting in as essentially an employee, right? Or essentially you was renting a booth. But now you own the shop, right? Just throughout that journey of getting to this point where you own the shop and you got, employees, and like, how did that come about, right? Is that something that you always thought to yourself, you're like, I want to own a shop, or like, how did that come? How did you go from, I'm cutting 20 heads a day to I only cut a few heads a day and I own the shop?
Man, I think, just like listening to this, it's like, I'm sure people could interview 100 people who've achieved something, and it'll be things that were very, very similar along the way. Man, honestly, it comes with the power of decision first. The decision, I would go back to when I was 19 years old, and I was like, yo, you know what? I don't want to go to college anymore. I'm going to go to barber school and get my license, and I'm going to be dope. I finished barber school because I told myself, up until this point, I've quit everything in my life. I said, yo, I just dropped out of school. All right, for sure. Like, that's the most important thing. Like, I said I was going to finish that. I didn't finish that. So, like, how I'm going to start something else and quit something else? So it was like, nah, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it, and you're going to be the best possible version you could possibly be at this space. So I went to barber school, completed barber school, and that right there was that first level of reprieve for me, to where I was like, hey, yo, I can do whatever I say I'm going to do. And it's small. $100, right? It's small. I just signed with the Broncos. I went undrafted, but I signed. It's small, right? Or even before that, I made the high school team.
Yep.
But it's like that it's like the first kick in your own ass of like, oh, I can do this. Like, whatever I want to do, like, I can do it. So, cool. All right, for sure. Ironically, I went to school because I told myself, I wanted to be an agent. I thought I wanted to be an agent because I always told myself, like, yo, you know what? I want to be around sports my entire life, but I don't want to play them. I was like, I want to be around sports my entire life, but I don't want to play them. And it's kind of crazy that all of my clientele was professional athletes. So, like, from there, I was like, oh, man, we could manifest what we say we want. Like, I always said that. I always want to be around athletes, but I don't want to play sports. Cutting in Super Bowls, doing all of those things, man, all of that came from just the power of a decision. I'm going to finish barber school. Okay, cool. Finished the barber school. Started working in the shop. Like Duke said, I'm cutting 20 and 30 heads a day. Like, there is a space of hard work that people don't acknowledge through manifestation that I think is the most important part of this entire episode. There are 10, 12, 14-hour days that I'm doing that I know that these older cats that got families in the shop can't do. So I'm taking all of their clients deliberately and purposely and letting them know what I'm doing here. Like, but we work together. Like, we cool. Like, if you can't get them, hey, I got them, bro. Just tell them. I'll stay after. It's all good. I don't got no family to get to. Like, it's all good. Right? But I also watched these guys for years. I learned so much game from them. So they even felt comfortable sending their clients to me. So it's like, okay, it's all good. Right? Again, back to you. And then in manifestation too, bro, we got to also understand that, yeah, it's us having the goal. But remember what I said. The only part that people can play in your manifestation is yes. Champ was a yes. That was a yes.
Yep.
Your mentors that helped you train, those were your yeses. Nobody acknowledges the no's along the way of manifestation. The only thing that matters is the yeses. So in me getting help from other barbers and them sending me clients and, you know, that leading to another client, and this guy is, now this guy is a professional athlete, and now his friend is a professional athlete, and that's what my roster is. Like, I'm only going to acknowledge the yeses through manifestation. I think there has to be, again, a laser focus, right? A laser focus in the sense of when you start acknowledging the no's, you get knocked off your square a little bit. I don't really know what the no's were along the way. Honestly, I can't even think about the no's. Like, even in me leaving the shop and going and getting my own shop, my first one, I'm sure there were obstacles, but like, they didn't resonate with me. The obstacles weren't there to stop me. They were just there for me to figure out a better way to doing it. You know, even getting my first location, my first major location on the most popular boulevard in the San Fernando Valley, bro, that was an astronomical number that I never seen in my life. I never thought I was going to be able to pay that. And again, I think it's kind of crazy how we all have this circle and this synergy between us three, because the only reason why I opened that location was because of Omar. Like, we were at, where did you and Candace? We were at Vivian's, and we was having lunch, and I was just like, man, I want to partner with this shop and do these things, and I'm looking at this dude, and he looking so unimpressed by my dreams. Like, I'm laying my dreams out front of him. I'm like, bro, what's up? And he's like, just do it all yourself. So you think I could do that? And he's still eating. He's not stopping. He eating. Yeah, bro, just do it yourself. He eating. And like, again, manifestation, you only understand the yeses.
The people that's gonna help push you forward.
That's the only thing that you hear. That's what I was programmed to listen to.
Yeah.
When you in that locked in mode, and it was crazy because we had that lunch, and maybe less than 3 months later, I opened it.
Shop was open.
Oh.
And it's wild when you in that space, man. As far as like moving your life forward, it was like the dopest feeling I ever had. I'm sure making the starting team was probably one of the dopest feelings you ever had in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Having 6 clients a day was probably the dopest feeling you ever had in your life. Yeah. Me opening that shop was one of the dopest feelings I ever had in my life. Not because of how grand it was, but it's one of those times where you like, hey, I moved my life forward.
Yeah, facts.
I did that. That was something that changed my life forever. It's now a standard of living that we can never go back to because of that point in life. And I think about that, like, oh, you can never go back. Like, and the reason why I say you could never go back is because even if you did, you have done so much work in your life to where your life wouldn't allow you to go back. Like, it manifestation.
Can no longer fit in that space.
It just doesn't fit no more.
Yeah.
And manifestation, I think, as you take steps forward, it actually like eliminates the steps behind you to where it's like, yo, this is the new low that you're gonna be.
Yep.
Right now, us three, we're at the lowest space that we're gonna ever be in life. Barring we don't have any bad habits or anything.
Yep.
But like, if we just continue on the trend that we are, this is the lowest space that we're gonna ever be in life. And like, when you get to that next level, the thing that propels you then, you're gonna sit down 10 years from now and be like, man, I remember when I did that. Like, I remember when I did last episode, I wore a vintage law sweater. I remember when he was having his first designs. I remember how oversized the shirts were. I remember the direction where he was trying to decide to go. Now it's like, hey, you know what? This is what the capsule gonna look like, and this is how we're gonna do it. And it's comfortable. It's not confusing. It's not, but again, all of those steps, all of the steps in order to achieve it, all of the mistakes in order to achieve it. Like, bro, you got brand deals where you got 5-6-figure brand deals, bro.
That I didn't even accomplish having as a player. You know what I mean? Those are definitely things that I've been able to manifest solo. I mean, not solo, but outside of the game in my next chapter of my life. It's so real. Sometimes it blows my mind, but it blows my mind. It blows my mind because the things that I continue to manifest, dream of, they keep coming true. And it's just mind blowing that like, yo, if you see something so clear, so vivid in your mind, and you put the work in, you can go get it.
Yeah.
Nobody stopping you from getting that. You know what I mean?
Ain't no blessing blockers around here.
Nah, no sir, no
Now
sir.
you said, I want to go back to something you said that I thought that was really important. You said that the only reason you went to barber school is because you kept quitting everything else. And you told yourself, yo, I'm not quitting nothing else. All right? And I think that's so important because there's so many people listening to this and watching this that can relate. So many of us have started something and had big dreams and said that this is really what we wanted, but found an excuse to quit, right? And I think we all need the awareness to look back on why we're not doing something and make a effort to fix it, right? So it's like, yo, I've been spending time, I've been trying to do all these things in my lifetime and I keep quitting. So I got to have the awareness to be like, yo, it's no one else's fault. This is my fault. And I keep quitting. So now what am I going to do about it? I don't want to be known as a quitter. I want to get shit done. I want to get things accomplished. So I'm going to do this and I'm not taking no for an answer. And I think we all got to do that. Some of y'all want to start your own podcast, right? And you guys keep telling yourself, well, I don't have the right camera. What I'm going to talk about, I can't afford editors. I can't afford videographers. But those are all excuses. Those are all no's, right? Those are all versions of you quitting. And I want you guys to understand that, yo, you got to get to a certain point where you stop accepting no for your answer and you stop making excuses for yourself, right? Some of you guys want to start your own business. There's a lot of women that follow this page or this channel, and some of you guys want to start your own eyelash company or, you know, your nail service, or you guys want to get in real estate or whatever the case may be, but you guys keep talking yourself out of doing what you want to do. And I want to remind you that, like, if you keep talking yourself and finding excuses for why you aren't doing something, right, you'll never accomplish it, all right? You'll never manifest it. No matter how much you think manifestation is real, no matter how much faith you have in yourself, no matter what kind of environment you're in, right? If you guys don't stop making excuses and stop quitting, it'll never happen, right? And I think that Jalan's point was really, it really like prompted me to say that because there's so many people that can relate to that, right? A lot of us get into these spaces where we want to do something, but we just quit because it's uncomfortable, right? And if you keep running from, you know, discomfort, you're going to keep running from like the money, you know what I mean? Or the success or the relationship or whatever the case may be, or whatever you want to manifest, it's always going to evade you because you keep quitting. And I want you guys to stop quitting and stop making excuses and go get what you deserve.
That's great, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's kind of like that's that on that.
That's that on that. But listen, before we get out of here, I want to ask y'all a question. All right, y'all take your time with this one. Really think about this. Jalan, I'm gonna start with you. What would the young you, like if the young you took a look at you, okay, what would he think, and would he be happy, and would he be proud?
Man, I think about it all the time, actually. It's what helps create perspective for me. You know, you have those moments where you are, because there's nobody who's harder on me than me. So I have moments all the time where I'm like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Right.
I need to be getting to it. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing this. I'm not doing this. You know, I should be able to do this without feeling this. Then, man, I'll take a step back and I'll sit down and I'll be like, all right, if I'm going to say 13. I think 13 is a great impressionable age. I use 13 to 17 all the time. Like if I'm 13 and I look up at me, like what would I think about it? Like if I was like, hey, yo, you can be this guy when you 13. When you're 30, you'll be this guy. And man, I think about it all the time, like, man, I would think I was so dope, bro. Like I would look at my woman, I would look at my family, and I'd be like, man, this guy got it. Like I would look at the car I drive, the spot I live in. Like I would look and be like, man, this guy's cool. Like this guy, I would look at my friends that I have. I would look at the relationship that I have with my parents, like with my siblings, and I'm like, man, this guy is really, really cool. And that a lot of times allows me to take a step back and be like, okay, appreciate what you got right now. I mean, we're gonna always get better, but like appreciate what you got, you know. I think younger me would have thought I would have been a little bit buffer. You know, but all jokes aside, like I really try to look at like every single area, man, and be like, man, what would I think about me? And like, honestly, the resounding opinion of myself is that like, man, you're really dope, dude. Like you are really, really dope, man. Like I can't wait to be that guy. Mm-hmm. I think young me would look at me and say, I can't wait to be that guy right there, because the men that I emulated over the course of my life are just a combination of who I always said I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And like, I feel like I am in that pocket. Like, do we got more to do? Yeah. Right now, this is the realm we in right now.
Yeah.
But like, we got some more manifesting to do. Mm-hmm. What about you, bro?
I think the young me would be proud, man. I think he would be happy. I think he'd be in a rush to beat me. Mm-hmm. I think he would look at me and say, man, damn, you gotta, hey, your fiance, she tight. My fiance, she tight. I think he would say that. I think he would look at the car I drive, and he would just look at my life, and he would be like, yo, you play in the NFL? Like, I can't wait to do that. You know what I mean? Oh, you met that guy? Oh, you play with Peyton Manning? Oh, I can't wait to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I think the young me would be excited, man. He would be excited, and he would be proud, and he would just, I think he would be honored, and he'd brag to his friends about who he's going to become, you know, in the future. And he'd be really confident about how he goes about his life. And he'd feel so much security and stuff like that. And I think one thing that I think he'd really be excited about is the respect that he gets. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point in my life, you know, and I say this respectfully, right? I feel like I get so much respect from people, right? I ain't talking about attention. I ain't talking about, I feel like I get so much respect from people, and people remind me every day how much they respect me. And I think the young me would just be really elated to know that, you know what I'm saying? And excited to just like experience that. Yeah, he would think I was cool. He would think I was smooth. You know what I'm saying? He would think that, hey, yo, like, I'm excited because that dude could dress, so I know I'm in good hands. And yeah, man. And then he would, like, we talking about the podcast. We talking about, you know, the clothing line. We talking about the NFL. We talking about having friends. We talking about having a community we have. All these things, man, like, it's one of those things that the young me would, it's like in a movie, if you're looking at yourself in the future and you're looking at two different versions of your life, and there's like the bad version where you're broke and you're poor, and you know, you just
said the bad version.
Well, I'm just saying though, everything's subjective. Everything's subjective. So like, you know, if I'm like young me, I'm like, yo, there's always a good and a bad, and that could pop up on screen, and you look at this other side, and it's like, okay, well, you're doing good for yourself, and you would have that feeling. You're like, yo, I'm pressing that button because I want to be that person right now. So I feel like that would be the experience from the young me. Oh,
I think the young me will be extremely proud. Extremely proud. I think back about like me growing up and thinking about the men that I looked up to. Unlike you guys, I didn't grow up in the LA area, right? So I guess even though I would see like celebrities on TV or a magazine or what you have it, I never got to see them up close and personal. So the guys that I really looked up to were, to be honest, my friends' dads. Like those were the closest men to me that I could look to and say and be like, damn, man, I would like my life to end up like this. Like I would like to be a present father. I would like to be involved. I would like to be protecting and providing for my family, because all of my, actually, I never even thought about this, but let me just quick shout out. Like I had 2 black families on my block. Patrick Johnson, head of the black family. Mr. Foster, head of the Foster family down the street. But Mr. Holbert, Mr. Irving, Mr. All of these men, hopefully somebody sees and they can send it to them, because shout out to them, because they set such a good example for me. But I would look at them and I would just be like, damn, all of these men seem like great stand-up men. And for me, that's all I wanted to be. All I wanted to be was a stand-up dude, someone could count on, people could trust, lean on, and I guess look to as an accountable person whenever they need it, or someone that's responsible. And when I look at my life now, I feel like if I'm not already there, I'm trending in that direction where I'm showing up for the people that I love. I'm protecting and providing for my family. I'm present. And for me, I think those are the most important things. So if I was a kid today looking at me, of course I would be like, damn, he got a badass wife. He got a cool ass car. He got a decent swag. But most importantly, look how he carries himself with his family, how he treats his woman, and how he moves in his day to day. Like, to me, that is cool, and that's what I want to be. When I used to see other guys, all those men that I mentioned, the cool aspect was missing, right? The cool factor was gone. There was nothing cool about these guys other than them being present and being great fathers and great men. But I always was like, man, I want all of that, but plus the swag. I'm a freaky. I need the swag on that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what I'm doing. So today, I would say that 13-year-old Omar, or even 17-year-old Omar, would be extremely proud and happy and eager to come walk in these shoes or become me at some point.
Lil us be jealous.
Lil
us be jealous.
Before we head out, I do want to ask you guys, man. Looking at the younger version of yourself. What would probably be one accomplishment that you would say that you never even thought about in your wildest dreams? And because your biggest accomplishment doesn't have to be the one you never thought about in your wildest dreams. Like, what would be one of your accomplishments you never thought about in your wildest dreams?
Playing the Super Bowl, starting the Super Bowl. That's a big deal. Like, I've watched Super Bowls my whole life, right? And being able to like play on the Super Bowl stage in New York City, all the lights, it was crazy. That's a crazy like experience because everyone in the world knows what the Super Bowl is, right? And it's only a select few of players in the history of the game to ever play in the Super Bowl, let alone like win one. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah, I would say winning the Super Bowl.
Winning it.
I never dreamed of going to the Super Bowl. Never. I dreamed about going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Making a lot of money, making plays, and being a superstar. That's what I thought. I never thought about that part, even though it's kind of silly. I guess if you play the game long enough, you just understand how hard it is to get a championship in that game, in that sport. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of moving parts to be on the same page. It's not like basketball or any of those other sports where one person could take over the game. So, yeah, I never envisioned, winning the Super Bowl, but the fact that it happens, man, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
That's great, man.
What about you?
I'm thinking about it. I've never thought about it before. It's interesting that I asked you guys, but probably, man, when I first opened the Ventura location, they did a 13-minute segment on Good Day LA about the shop and me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I remember, and this is when me and Dammy first started working together. I said, like, I just want coverage. Like, I just want coverage all year. Like, I don't know what that looked like, but like, I want to get in some magazines. Like, that was what I want to get in some magazines. That's it. I want to be in print. That was it. I just wanted to be in print, man. And the power of being a good person. This lady's car broke down right in front of the shop, and I went out there and I pushed her car to the side of the road, and I told her she could come in the shop, and she happened to be a producer for Good Day LA. And she was just like, man, she's like, this is your shop? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, what do you guys do here? Tell her we do hair, nail, and skincare, black owned, all of those things. And she's like, man, I would love to do a spread on you. And I'm like, yeah, all right, like, for sure. A producer for Good Day LA, car broke down in front of the shop. All right, cool. And I didn't hear from the lady for like a month and a half. And she called me and she's like, hey, are you available like next Friday? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, cool. Like, the cameras will be out there and we'll pull up. And I remember how proud my pops was. I think that's like something that always will hit a young man. It's like when you get to see the level that you never thought your pop's pride could ever rise to. Like I remember seeing your dad with you at the Super Bowl. Like I remember seeing his face, right? And my dad posting this on Facebook and telling his friends about it, and I was just like, man, this is kind of crazy when you get to actually see your dad openly. And you guys know when you got just a strong dad, he's not openly telling people for real, like about your accomplishments. He's just not on that like that.
Right.
But like I got to see that, man. Honestly, he put it in perspective for me. He was like, yo, you got to understand, like you were on TV in one of the biggest markets in the world for 13 minutes and people pay millions of dollars for that. And I was just like, wow, I never thought about it like that, Pop. And when we had that conversation, I was just like, man, that's one of the dopest things that I've experienced in my life. That young me would have never asked for that.
Yeah.
So that was one of those things that was dope. That was one of those things that I can always look at and be happy that I accomplished. Do you guys have any more big dreams? Y'all got big stuff that y'all want? Like
Big stuff.
I got big stuff.
Big stuff.
Big stuff.
Okay.
Big stuff.
All right, well, man, let's keep dreaming, man. Let's keep manifesting.
Let's keep working.
Let's keep working.
Let's keep working.
Okay.
Matter of fact, let's keep pulling each other to the next space of what we're trying to do. Don't be afraid to share your dreams either, man.
I ain't gonna share them on here though.
Not here. No.
Not
not
y'all.
getting that.
Sorry.
Maybe on the Patreon. Nah, but
Yeah, I got a dream that we get to 100,000 subscribers in 2024 on YouTube. So y'all gonna help us with that. You know
okay,
what I'm
Martin.
Hey, y'all could help us to do it in this episode.
You know what I'm saying?
To
Y'all
be
just go
real.
ahead and help us that. So like, you know, whatever. So listen, before we get out of here, we got some homework for you. All right. We hope you got a lot of value from this episode. But before you go, we need you to like take 10 seconds, get out a pen, get out a paper. All right. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to do that. Okay.
Okay. Got it. Okay, good.
Okay, you got that? Cool. And I want you to answer this question, all right? I want you to write this answer down. I'm gonna ask you this question. Is your life by design or default? All right? Is your life by design or default? All right? Are you, is where you are in your life something that you are intentional about? Is it something that you created? Or is it something that you just stumbled upon, right? Is it something that you just like fell upon? Like ask yourself those questions and answer those questions. Write it down on your paper. And what I want you to do is write it in the comments. Let us know what you said. Is your life by design or default? All right. With that said, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Let us know how you felt about the episode. Make sure you are subscribed to us. On all social platforms, on all streaming platforms. Thank you again for rocking with us. Thank you again for allowing us to be a part of your top 5 Spotify podcasts.
Hello.
And be sure to sign up to our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/nice and neat the podcast. All right, we're going to have exclusive content on there, BTS content, raw content, early access videos, discount to merch, and so on and so forth, right? Much love, much gratitude. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalan. This is another episode of the #1 podcast in all of Los Angeles, Nice and Neat, and that's that on that.
I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting old and I don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind. Yeah. To the hundreds, pledge allegiance, I stand.